So you're telling me you don't believe that Israel targets,
I don't believe Israel
doesn't
targets
target
civilians. I think Israel goes out of its way to minimize civilian casualties. And I can give you numerous examples of that. And you won't be able to find another military. So when Aleppo or any of these wars that have taken place recently,
sorry,
there's
no. The scale of destruction in Gaza dwarfs that in terms of the rate of strikes, dwarfs that of Aleppo.
then
The
why
rate
is
of
the death
strikes
toll
dwarfs that of
so
Aleppo.
why is the death toll so small then? Like
The
half
death
a
toll
million
isn't
died
small.
in
Sorry,
Syria.
what?
Half a million to a million
20,000
died in
people minimum
Syria.
isn't small.
So a million people were killed in Syria, yeah?
But you're talking over how many years? You're talking over the last 12 years. We're talking about 3 months.
Like genuine, like this is what blows. So you read things that I remember somebody saying like there's been more tonnage of bombs dropped on Gaza than was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yes, that's
That
true.
was right at the beginning, and then it was twice as much. It's probably 4 or 5 or 6 times as much by
Yes,
now. And yet, how
yes.
many
And you're
died in
calling that
Hiroshima and
indiscriminate.
Nagasaki? How many died in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Which were just
Those
two
were
bombs.
nuclear bombs. Those are very different types of munitions.
So then, why are we comparing the tonnage?
It's an expression of how much damage Israel has caused.
Exactly. So if you think of how many, like 300,000, was it 150,000 dead in, or was it
I don't
300?
know. I actually have no idea.
Yet we have, despite more bombs, more tonnage being dropped on Gaza, by your high estimates, 20,000 plus, yeah?
High.
Which is a lot of
Those are
people,
not.
and
Those
I'm
are
not
minimum
trivializing
estimates.
that. I'm not, but what I'm saying is, if Israel is dropping so many bombs that, to your statistics, they've leveled 60% of Gaza City, which would have been at some point a million people living there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
because
is the death
Israel's
to
goal.
hear me out, Tarek? I just want you to do
Hmm.
this exercise
Yeah.
logically. If Israel is leveled 60% of the city, and that
Mm.
was a million people there, that's 600,000 people, yeah, would have been in
Yeah.
those houses, very crudely, yeah. Yet we don't even see 10% of that dead. We don't, like, literally, it's a fraction of this. So clearly, Israel is not targeting civilians. You may say it's targeting civilian
Mm.
infrastructure, and that's a different conversation. But it's not targeting civilians, because if it did, you have to explain why how they're able to level a city by your statistics, 60%, and yet not kill 600,000 people that were living there.
I never argued. This is a misunderstanding of my argument. I never argued that Israel is trying to maximize the number of Palestinian.
You use the word
Sorry.
genocide.
Yeah. Look. Okay. There are constraints upon Israel. If it killed a million Gazans, right? The international community would be in uproar, and that's not me saying it. That's not me saying it, right? The international community, they're already, we're seeing a sort of reproach by the international community
But you
at
are saying that,
20,000.
Tarek. You
Israel
said
knows
they're
it cannot
trying to
kill every
kill.
single.
You said they're trying to genocide the Palestinians. So that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yes,
Either they are
there's
or they're
ways.
not.
They're trying to the best. This is why I was talking about to the best of their abilities, right? If you look at, for example, when Israel they first locked off any and all supplies getting into Gaza. Eventually, they had to let supplies in. Um, due to international pressure from the US and elsewhere. Um, and Netanyahu himself admitted when a reporter asked him, "Why are you allowing these humanitarian aids in?" He said, "Because if I don't allow these humanitarian aids in, the international community the international response would be too strong." So he knows he has to let some in, and it's the same principle here that we see and this is obvious. This is obvious. That Israel knows it cannot literally kill every single Palestinian. So therefore, it's taking the most efficient way. It wants to forcibly displace Palestinians. We've seen this time and time again. It's practically obvious now. I mean, you're talking about
Tarek,
making.
I'm sorry,
They don't
I'm
need to.
laughing because this is absolute. Literally, if they hadn't evacuated and created the safe passages for the Palestinians to flee, you would have accused Israel of committing a genocide and killing 600,000 Palestinians. They create a corridor for the Palestinians to escape the conflict, which they should do, they have a moral duty to, and you then say, oh, they're now trying to ethnically cleanse them. It's like Israel can't win.
It's not